You ready?
Yes, sir.
Oh.
Check, check, check. Check, 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 check.
Hello, testing. Okay. All right.
It's time for Weird Medicine with Dr. Steve.
I've got diphtheria crushing my esophagus. I've got Ebola virus dripping from my nose. I've got the leprosy of the heart valve exacerbating my incredible woes. I want to take my brain out and blast it with the wave, an ultrasonic echographic and a pulsating shave. I want a magic pill for all my ailments, the health equivalent to Citizen Kane. And if I don't get it now in a tablet, I think I'm doomed and I'll have to go insane. I want a requiem for my disease.
It's Weird Medicine, the first and still only uncensored medical show in the history of broadcast radio and the longest-running show on this channel. I'm Dr. Steve. My little pal, Dr. Scott, the traditional Chinese medicine provider, gives me street cred. The wacko alternative medicine assholes. Hello, Dr. Scott.
Hey, Dr. Steve.
This is a show for people who had never listened to a medical show on the radio. If you got a question you're embarrassed to take to your regular medical provider, if you can't find an answer anywhere else, give us a call, 347-766-4323. That's 347-POOHEAD. Visit our website at drsteve.com for podcasts, medical news, and stuff you can buy I can't mention contractually. Most importantly, we are not your medical providers. Take everything here with a grain of salt. Don't act on anything you hear on this show without talking it over with your doctor, nurse practitioner, physician assistant, pharmacist, chiropractor, acupuncturist, yoga master, physical therapist, or whatever. All right, very good. Don't forget Dr. Scott's website. It's simplyherbals.net. That's simplyherbals.net. How's things going over there, Dr. Scott?
Pretty well, thank you.
Yep. Got the best CBD nasal spray on the market.
The best.
And check me out on Normal World with Dave Landau. Just did one on ass play, which had to be tamed down for Blaze TV, and the unexpurgated version will be seen at Hackamania. May, I don't know if I'm on May 10th or the 11th, in Las Vegas, Nevada. It'll be the last official Weird Medicine show with my co-host, Lucy Tightbox. And it's going to be delightful, and it's going to be disgusting. It's going to be the most disgusting show we've ever done. Plus, we'll answer live questions, do a little bit of retrospective, some pictures from the old days, and answer any questions that people have, and including medical questions. But the videos that I'm making are absolutely disgusting.
Oh, my God.
And stuff that I've always wanted to do, and just, Las Vegas, the perfect place. Dr. Scott's over here snotting and stuff. I just got over influenza, and now he's brought some other shit. Did you hear about SNL 50? So they had the 50th.
Yeah, it was great.
It was great.
Yeah, I loved it.
It was one of the best SNL shows ever.
Oh, yeah, easily.
It was really funny. There was a lot of callbacks. If you've been a fan, going back. I mean, I watched the first episode of SNL live.
How funny.
That's
70
how
something.
old I am. Something 70-something.
75,
I can't
yeah.
remember.
Something,
And
75, yeah.
I remember, and it was a little bit of a disaster, but it was like, oh, this is awesome. And they used to have the Muppets on there, and they had Albert Brooks and all kinds of crazy stuff that they don't have anymore. But apparently Maya Rudolph had COVID,
Oh, no.
and then she kissed Martin Short on the lips, and now he's got it, and he's like 75. And I just talked to a few friends of mine that were there, and they're all sick.
Oh, goodness.
So it was a big, giant super spreader event.
Oh, gosh.
So anyway, what are you going to do?
It was a good one. It was a good episode, though.
Yeah, if people have to
fun.
die, I guess. But if Martin Short dies, I'm going to be mad.
Yeah,
because I love
suck.
him.
That's gonna suck.
But he's not going to die.
No.
Fortunately, this is not Delta or OG COVID.
Yeah,
This
OG,
is
yeah.
the newer brand of COVID, and it's not that, I don't want to say it's not that big of a deal, but it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, it's not as bad.
And we do have medication, so hopefully Marty got on some Paxlovid, and he's on the mend. So anyway, there you go.
There you go.
Goodness gracious. But, so hopefully Hackamania will not be a super spreader event. Did you also hear that Anthony is going on WABC. Now, WABC is...
Who's Anthony?
Anthony from Opie and Anthony.
Gotcha.
And he is, I don't know if he's got his own show or if he's going to be on there with Sid Rosenberg. Now, that's where this thing comes from for people to listen to the podcast.
If you just read the bio for Dr. Steve, host of Weird Medicine on Sirius XM 103 and made popular by two really comedy shows, Opie and Anthony and Ron and Fez, you would have thought that this guy was a bit of, a clown.
Okay, so that was when I was on Sid and Bernie's show right at the beginning of COVID. And I said one thing that was incorrect, where at the time, with the OG COVID, it looked like most people weren't going to get it.
Right.
And then it mutated to, what we now know, where it became endemic. And then so it was like, well, okay, now everybody's going to get it. But at the time, it was like SARS, or particularly even MERS, that most people will not get it. Now, with MERS, a substantial fraction of people who did get it died. That was the Middle East respiratory syndrome coronavirus. But, I said most people will not get it. The other thing that I said was correct was most people who do get it will not die.
Right.
And, I was trying to chill everybody out, and that's where, we had a really nice conversation. I love Sid and Bernie. And, they never asked me back, but that's fine.
Oh, funny.
But, they really just, at the time, people were freaking out about coronavirus, and I was tracking every day, tracking the numbers back then. I was doing those COVID sit reps on YouTube. They were some of my, at the time, the most viewed videos that I ever did. And then... it just never went away. And here we are 5 years later.
Yeah, kind of stuck around.
Still, well, it's, there were five endemic coronaviruses that used to kill people all the time, and we just never tested for it. And when I say killed people all the time, it would take the most vulnerable of the elderly and people who were immunocompromised, and they would get this non-bacterial pneumonia, and we would just call it either viral pneumonia or quote-unquote atypical pneummonia. And we knew it was a virus, and we knew most of them were probably coronaviruses, but we just didn't test for it.
Right.
We didn't have a treatment. There was no point in testing for it. There wasn't that many people, probably about 20,000 a year in the United States. And then this new coronavirus comes around. Well, now it's just the sixth circulating coronavirus.
Right.
It's joined its other brethren. And one of the points I made back then was this is probably how all of the other five emerged into the population to become endemic as well, was that they started off fierce and then mutated into something that just causes the common cold for the most part, but still will do bad things to people who are immunocompromised or vulnerable.
Yep.
And so there you go. I don't think I'm retconning in any way when I say that the vaccine, I thought it should be delivered to people who were optimally vulnerable to the vaccine, and giving it, anyway, we don't have to rehash all of that. But that's still, I hope that we learn from this, that you don't lock down everyone who's not vulnerable to this thing, and you vaccinate the people who are vulnerable, because for them the benefit outweighs the risk. When you have somebody like my kid who is 21 and has not at risk of dying or even ending up in the hospital, the risk of the vaccine is greater than the benefit.
Right.
The risk of him getting, say, myocarditis or some other adverse event is much higher than the risk of him dying from coronavirus. So I'm just hoping that we learned our lesson from this, and that next time we're going to target these treatments appropriately. When they came out with the pill, they said, well, don't just give it to anybody. Give it to the most vulnerable. Well, why?
Right.
How come we were so smart with the pill, but not so smart with the vaccine? You know what I mean? So anyway, show, I'll end up with a community note just because I had the temerity to say that not everybody should have the damn thing. But anyway. All right, so that's where we are. I want to say hello to everybody in the Fluid family. We just have a few people today, and that's fine. It's a fine Saturday afternoon. It's the old Don Phillips and Richie Rich, 0007, Amy C., Stacy Deloach. Hey, Stacy, king of all diffs. The One Pun. I saw the One Pun over on Tukey's channel this morning, or a Bedabbler's channel. But if you want to join the Fluid family and just hang out with us while we record, just go to youtube.com/@weirdmedicine and click the subscribe button, then the notification button, and then when we go live, you'll get notifications. Follow us on X. I hate calling it X. On Twitter.
Yeah.
Well, because when you sent out something, it was called a tweet. Now, what is it if it's on X? Is it still a tweet? I don't know. But anyway, it's a message, a short 280-character message on X, a.k.a. a tweet. But anyway, follow us there at Weird Medicine, and usually we'll put out a note there as well. And then this show, the behind-the-scenes show, goes on our Patreon. So check us out at patreon.com/weirdmedicine. All right, Mr. Doodle. Thank you for the $5. Says, Mr. Dr. Steve, OJ hates me because I won't give him my pee. Please tell him I don't deserve his bullying. Thanks. I agree. OJ should not bully anybody. And when they're talking about OJ, they're talking about Cardiff and not the OJ you're thinking about. He's dead.
Yeah,
he's not bullying anybody right now.
No.
They're talking about the floating orange on the Bedabbler channel. So,
of course.
There you go.
I should've
Very
known.
apropos to the SiriusXM audience. And anyway, thank you, Mr. Doodle. I will relay the message. OJ should not be bullying anyone. And, OJ is a very nice guy. He lives in Cleveland. We were all going to go meet him in Cleveland because they've got a casino there. We're going to go do a poker tournament. And Carl from WATP and Rocco from the Bedabbler channel, we were all going to meet up there. And that turns out now we're all just going to meet in Las Vegas. So May 9th through the 11th, Plaza Hotel. Go to hackamania.com. Use offer code WEIRD. And if you use my offer code, come say howdy do. I'll buy you a drink or something, or I'll give you some merch or a hearty handshake if you're sober and don't want any of my stupid merchandise. But I'm going to be bringing a bunch of stupid, like stickers and pins and stupid stuff. But I got to give it all away. It's the last show.
And you're replacing me by some fancy box lady for the last show.
Yeah. What, do you want to go?
No.
Do you want to go to Las Vegas?
Hell no.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. It's Lucy Tightbox. Oh, my good Lord. Out of
fancy box.
If you rate women on a scale of 1 to 10, she's a 14.
Oh, wow.
She's the one I did the 2001 retrospective on her show. It's called The Once Over with Kaylee.
Okay.
Her real name's Kaylee.
Gotcha.
But she is delightful. She's brilliant. She's beautiful. She's funny, and she has been listening to the show long enough that she can sit in for you and ask me questions about the past and all that kind of stuff. And she won't come and just snot all over everywhere.
I know it.
Do you want
I wasn't snotting until I got here.
Do you want some tissues?
I'm all right.
Okay.
I'll go home and shower later. Or hose off. No, I really don't feel bad at all. I just started getting this runny nose literally up here.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Mr. Doodle says, OJ thought I was poor and didn't have the means to tell on him to Dr. Steve. His ass is grass. Yes, because I'm so mean. Oh, well, I don't know. I don't know. If this is some sort of in-joke thing, I don't know what's going on. But anyway. All right. You ready to answer some questions, Dr.
Yes, sir.
Scott?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
All right. We have a ton of voicemails left over that we have not answered yet. So let's see here. Let's do this one.
Hello, folks in the Fluid family.
There's
Hey.
Quick question for you.
Yep.
Been having type 2 diabetes for years, but
Yep.
for some reason I've started urinating about every hour
Oh.
and about 5 times a night. for the last month or so, and just wondering, is it possible to overtax your kidneys because I'm urinating so much?
Yeah, it doesn't really work that way. The kidneys love to filter. That's what they love to do. But that's not why you're urinating too much. There's one of two things going on. Either your blood sugars are out of control, so your body is trying to piss out as much sugar as it possibly can. And so just test your urine for sugar. If it shows high, then that's what that is. You need to get your sugars under control. But this could be your prostate.
Could be
too.
prostate, yep.
Yeah. If your prostate is large enough, what happens is that it very gradually will close off and your bladder will empty less and less until you get to the point where your bladder is actually full and then it gets over full and then you piss. But then you piss and you only piss down to full. And so now it's still full and then it gets rapidly overfills and then you have to piss again. And then when you piss, again, you're only able to piss out just enough to reduce the pressure in the bladder. So now the bladder's still full. And then this goes on and on and on and on and on. Now, if they put a catheter in there, you might fill up the bag a liter, maybe even 2 liters. I've seen more than that. We try not to empty more than a liter at a time because the bladder can get so stretched that if it rapidly decompresses, it'll bleed. And then you just get tons of, because all the little blood vessels have stretched. And then when you let them decompress, they'll just break. And then you flood the bladder with blood. So you try not to do that. But one thing that they can do, Stacy, is have you urinate and then do an ultrasound of your bladder. It's called a post-void residual. And if your bladder is still full of fluid, it's your prostate.
Right on.
If it's completely empty, then you're having polyuria, and it's because of sugar in your or other solutes in your urine. Okay.
And when it doesn't, and sometimes the prostate can get so big it can push up into the bladder a little bit, and the bladder kind of bloops over.
Oh yeah.
And there's a little bit of urine kind of in a ring around
Yes.
the top of it too. So that's when people really they'll like pee and then they'll stop and then they'll pee again and then they'll have to pee a little bit more. But Stacy, one thing
bimodal urination, that's what that is when you piss and then it stops and then it starts back up again. That's called bimodal.
Something that might help him or might help us to determine what's going on if when he's voiding his bladder 5 times a night, is it a pretty healthy steady stream?
Right.
It's not urgent. And if it's urgent, if it starts out kind of thin, he feels like he's forcing. You can force hard enough, you can actually build up the muscles in your bladder, and your bladder muscles get thick.
Yep.
And you can see that on CT scans.
Yep.
But so there's a couple ways to figure that out pretty quick.
Yep.
Yeah. Really are.
Get that checked though. Okay.
So one of those two things.
Yeah, don't fuck around with that.
Yeah.
Because the other thing that happens if you're retaining urine, particularly if it has a ton of sugar in it because you're diabetic, it becomes a great culture medium.
Right.
One bacteria in there, it starts dividing your toast.
Yeah. And it loves sugar.
Yep.
Loves
yeah,
sugar.
they love sugar.
Loves the sugar.
Yep. Okay.
All right, Stace.
All right,
get that checked out.
All right. Let's delete that one. And here's another one from Stacy.
Cool.
Let's see.
Folks and the Fluid family, quick question for you. I have started fuck me stupid. Let me try this again.
Uh-oh.
Oh, well. Okay, buddy. I guess
How funny. I love it.
I guess the one we played was the
the real
the
question.
second one,
Yeah,
yeah.
how funny.
All right, let's see. Okay, here we go.
Hey, Dr. Steve.
Hey.
It's Donna from North Carolina.
Hey, Donna.
I see commercials where you can take a medicine before you have sex with somebody to prevent HIV, PrEP.
Yep.
Seems to be the brand name.
Yep.
So my question is there something you can take before you have sex with a stranger to keep you from getting a gonorrhea or chlamydia?
Yeah, I don't want people thinking they can just take a pill. Because you could conceivably have take prophylactic antibiotics, and there are some people that will take post-exposure antibiotics if they, had unprotected intercourse with somebody, and then they can get, post-exposure antibiotics. So conceivably, you could take prophylactic antibiotics. The problem is that you end up, number one, being exposed to antibiotics when you don't need them, and there are downsides to that. Number one, you can build up resistance in the bacteria in your body, or you could cause Clostridium difficile, which causes a toxic kind of diarrhea called pseudomembranous colitis that's just caused by exposure to antibiotics, killing the good bacteria in your gut. So really what we recommend is protected intercourse rather than
traditional prophylaxis.
Right, correct. That's why they're called prophylactics, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So if you don't know your partner very well, or if you're not in a monogamous relationship with them, and you're at risk, then we recommend insisting on protection. And if something happens, you can always get post-exposure antibiotics if you feel like the person that you were with was infected with something. Okay?
Right on.
All right. Let's see. All right.
Hey, Dr. Steve.
Hey, it's Donna.
I always hear people go, blah, blah, blah. We need medical marijuana.
Yes.
But nobody ever says we need medical heroin.
Correct.
So my question is, what's the difference in morphine and heroin? Aren't they just both synthetic from the opium plant?
Yeah. Right. So heroin used to be on the market. It's diacetyl morphine, if I remember right. Let me see. Diacetyl. Look that up, Dr. Scott. I can't.
Okay.
Diacetyl morphine. And, there we go. That is heroin. Yes, a diamorphine. Heroin is a crude preparation of diamorphine. It's a semi-synthetic product obtained by acetylation of morphine, which occurs as a natural product in opium. So there are natural opioids, which are like morphine is one of those, where you can extract it directly from the opium poppy. And then diacetyl morphine is a semi-synthetic because you're taking morphine and you're fiddling with it. It's not naturally found.
They say it's more than 2 and 3 times stronger is what they're saying
More
here.
potent. More
Yeah.
potent.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. And it's the thing is that we already have morphine, we already have hydromorphone, we already have oxycodone and fentanyl, and so the argument is we don't really need yet another opioid on the market. And diacetyl morphine or diamorphine, aka heroin, doesn't really have any differential advantage. Now, I wrote a paper once saying that if heroin has any differential advantage over morphine, then it should be legal. And there is one.
Okay.
And the one is that it may, there's just a very small signals in the medical literature that heroin may have a different profile when it comes to immunology and cancer cells. So I'm going to have to give you a little background. So there are some cancer cells that have opioid receptors on their surface.
Okay.
Why? I don't know. It's just because opioid receptors are fucking everywhere.
Right.
And they have opioid receptors on their surface. And in a subset of those tumors, those opioid receptors are hooked up to the growth mechanism of the tumor.
Okay.
And in a subset of those, they're hooked up in a negative way. In other words, if you agonize that opioid receptor, in other words, an opioid molecule connects with that receptor, then the tumor will slow down. And we have lots of data on this. Where different tumors respond to different opioids, and very often there is a negative correlation. In other words, the more opioid they have, the
more rapidly,
the more slowly the tumor grows.
Oh, slower. Okay, gotcha.
Okay, now the opposite is also true.
Okay,
there are some tumors that'll grow faster in the presence of some opioids. So knowing what those are would be very helpful. Here's a good example. If you have small cell lung cancer, you can do a thing called a bombazin stain. And if there's no bombazin, which is just a molecule that's produced by the cancer cell, then those cells will die in the presence of methadone.
Wow.
It causes a thing called apoptosis, and people will pronounce it apoptosis. That's incorrect. It's incorrect.
According to you.
There's no prefix apop. There is apo, A-P-O, and then there's P-T-O-S-I-S, tosis. God, so anyway, it's apoptosis. It means programmed cell death. And methadone will induce programmed cell death in small cell lung cancer cells that secrete, lower than normal amounts of bombazin. So, this is a real thing, and we've got I do a whole talk on this for the oncologists. So anyway, if heroin affects some tumors differently than all the other opioids do when it comes to this particular facet of opioid therapy, then it should be legal. Because now it has a benefit for some people with certain tumors. And that we would just need to know that. So you got to do those studies. And then I would argue that it should absolutely be legal, at least for those indications.
Right.
All right. That makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Very good.
Interesting.
Okay. Thank you, Donna. That's an excellent question. All right. Let's see here.
Hey, man. It's old Dave here, man. No funny voices here, and adapted personas or anything else. I'm proud to know you, man. Brag about you to my friends. A guy I met at UNC when I was teaching there, and we hit it off and did some projects together. And I knew you when you were young and getting into medical school and doing stand-up comedy and everything else. And it all came together. And I'm just proud to say I know this guy.
Oh, my goodness. Well, this is the artist, Dave Haynes, who is known for his character Perky Pencil, everybody.
Ooh.
And I just bought a Perky Pencil book off of him. It's a weird character he's been working on since as long as I've known him. And he had a recording studio in the radio, television, motion pictures thing. He was kind of a, really cool sort of hippie guy back then in the early 70s and late 60s. And we really hit it off and did a bunch of projects together and stuff. And, here we are. Let me see what. Okay, 77. Let's just pretend that this is 27. So 87, 97, 2007, 2017,
40.
2027, 50 years. Almost 50 years. So 48 years I've known this guy. So.
And his show was incredible. And if you haven't heard it, you need to go hear.
Yeah, he used to call in to Big Kev's Geek Stuff and call him Big Ken. This was the guy.
Medicine with Dr. Steve. And now he's doing his final show out there in L.A. And
well, okay. Dave doesn't always get everything right. Okay, let's see here. Let's see.
Not expecting Dr. Steve, but I hope you're doing well.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks.
Good to hear your voice on voicemail. Hope you have a wonderful day tomorrow.
Thank you, my friend. All right. Let's see. Here's one from... I don't know what that's about. Okay. Here's Don
Hey, Dr.
again.
Steve, I've heard of people getting a stent put in their heart
Yes.
that not only props open the blood vessel,
Yes.
but can also have a special medicine
Yep.
in the metal somehow.
Correct.
So my question is, what happens if you turn out to be allergic to that medicine? Does your heart start itching? Can they remove that stent and give you a plain metal one? Let me know.
Yeah, so the medicated stents are these small sort of expandable mesh tubes, and they're coated with medication, and it's inserted into like a narrowed or blocked artery to keep it open. And the medication is used to prevent what's called restenosis, in other words, re-narrowing of the arteries after you do this thing called angioplasty, which,
right.
which is where you open up an artery. And it releases medicine that inhibits the growth of scar tissue and prevents blood clots from forming. And you can be allergic to it. The good news is that it the medication goes away after a while. Mm-hmm. So let's see. Let's put in allergy. And small percentage of people are allergic, and it causes rash, itching, hives, shortness of breath, and even fever. And they feel like it's the polymer coating on the stent, or it could be the metal itself, or the drug. So it's one of the three. Mm-hmm. And so if they have mild to moderate allergic reaction, they just give antiplatelet therapy, and they give them steroids and antihistamines. Now, if it's severe, then they may have to yank the damn thing.
Yep.
But people that receive these drug-eluting stents are monitored for allergic reactions, and there you go. So, yeah, kind of sucks.
And
yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, and to add to that, it can happen, and when there's other metal put in different places, joint replacements, or if you have, if you break your arm and they put.
I used to think you couldn't be allergic to titanium, but that's not true. You can be. So, here's from the Journal of Allergy and Clinical Immunology. It says allergic reactions to drug-eluting stents are more common than acknowledged.
Oh wow!
They present with a wide range of symptoms and to multiple people. Evidence-based guidelines for risk assessment, blah, blah, blah. Okay, patients should be questioned regarding their allergic history and advised about increased risks prior to placement of intracoronary stents.
Wow.
It said most patients responded well to medical treatment, in other words, antihistamines or steroids over 1 year. However, there was a subset of patients that failed to improve and requested stent removal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm trying to get a percentage here, and I'm not seeing the percentage, but it is not common.
No, in the general population, 10%. I'm saying amount. I'm saying metal. Oh, this is for arthroplastics, the joint arthroplastics.
Okay,
but not for the stent placements in hearts. Yeah,
okay,
I'm sorry.
Okay,
I was looking at a different thing.
Yeah,
but still, that's a big number for joint replacements.
Yeah,
that's a big number.
Yeah. Did we answer this thing from Donna about hardening of the arteries?
Let's hear it.
Hey, Dr. Steve.
It's the Donna Pittman show.
When my grandmother had dementia a long time ago, they said it was because of hardening of the arteries in her head.
Yep.
I haven't heard that term, in a long time.
Yep.
So
they don't really say hardening of the arteries anymore, although that is a type of dementia. There's a type of dementia called vascular dementia, where people have, mini strokes or little, high blood pressure and high cholesterol cause brain tissue to be ticked off in a stepwise fashion. Now, people with Alzheimer's dementia caused by neurofibrillary tangles and stuff, and that's just sort of a chronic degenerative disease, will have a course that tends to be smooth and inexorably downward. Mm-hmm. Okay, and you can kind of just judge by how fast they go from one stage to the other, how quickly they'll end up in the end stage. Whereas people with vascular dementia, it's stepwise. They'll be fine, then all of a sudden they'll have an increased deficit, and then they'll go for a while, and they'll do okay, and then they'll decline again when they have another event. And it will stair-step down. And the good thing about it is you may be able to prevent progression if you can stop the underlying mini strokes or whatever. So get their blood pressure under control, get their blood sugar under control, get their cholesterol under control, get them exercising, et cetera, et cetera. So, all right. But that's the big thing. And that's where that term hardening of the arteries comes from, is from vascular dementia, mm-hmm. where it is really literally, hardening of the arteries. All right. Okay, let's see here. Here's Matt from Charleston.
Hey, Dr. Steve, it's Matt in Charleston.
Hey, man.
Just listening to the newest episode, 621, and you're talking about bringing Weird Medicine to a close and ending after 18 years, and I think you've done an incredible job for 18 years. I've been a listener for a long time from back in Opie and STDs.
Hey, thanks, man.
And I want to tell you that you were a safe haven during COVID. It was a very chaotic time in my career. And it was great to have somebody to listen to that wasn't swayed by the buzz or the whatever hype was happening in the media at the time, and hit us with a little bit of science and remind us that science plus politics equals politics.
Yeah, thank you. And I've at least, listen, I got fooled by a couple of things too, but
Sure.
I felt like we were paying attention to actual science during that period. And I did say that science plus politics equals politics. And it's true.
It's true.
Just
It is true.
Stop it.
No, you are so right.
But I made a couple of predictions that were incorrect. One, that most people wouldn't get it. That was wrong. But, I couldn't predict that the stupid thing was going to mutate the way it did. But the one that still pisses me off was that I predicted in like June of 2020 that we would have favipiravir as a therapeutic, and instead they went full bore for the vaccine, whereas I would have preferred to have seen a therapeutic, and we had it. It was in Japan, and it never hit our shores. And the Japanese, Fuji had already approved it for influenza. It was a target for COVID-19 because it had or RNA type coronavirus activity.
Okay.
And it should have been looked at and brought to this country if there was any efficacy whatsoever. Instead, what happened was we ended up getting molnupiravir like a year later. So it's almost like somebody said, oh, well, there's this drug over there, Fuji, we're the big guys. We're going to come up with our own version of this.
Yep.
I'm not saying that there was, some sort of corporate conspiracy or anything like that, but it is weird that you have favipiravir and then crickets. And then all of a sudden, here's molnupiravir. But it was a year later. We could have had it. And my point back then was if we had a therapeutic like we do for influenza, like Zofluza, that is very effective, then we don't have to worry about this thing anymore. You would just go, you would do a test. Oh, I've got this coronavirus. I'm going to go to my primary care, get a prescription for this therapeutic, and just go on my merry way. Isolate so that I'm not getting other people sick, but you don't die, you don't go to the hospital, et cetera, et cetera. And having a therapeutic, to me, was a quicker way to end this thing than to go through all this vaccine malarkey. And I am not an anti-vaccine person in any way. But I just, for that particular virus, just like influenza, we do have a vaccine for influenza that is approved by the FDA, and it's old school vaccine. We've had it forever. It's not great when it comes to preventing disease, but it's pretty good when it comes to preventing hospitalization and death. But we still need a therapeutic. But if for worse or for worse, they concentrated solely on vaccine, and then we eventually have now Paxlovid and molnupiravir. But I really thought that January or June of 2020 we would have favipiravir as a therapeutic, and it just never happened. Would you look and see when molnupiravir was approved?
Sure.
Anyway, all right. So let's finish this.
To you that. And although I will miss Weird Medicine on a weekly basis, I completely understand where you stand. And if you're feeling burnt out or you're feeling like it's not great, you're wrong. But, wish you well.
No, thanks, man. Thank you very much. I just feel like it's just time. But we're not going away. We're just not going to be beholden to the weekly schedule that the SiriusXM show requires. So we'll still do some Friday night live streams. I still want to do that. I want to interact with people. And I just don't want to have to produce a professional package once a week like we've had to do for the last 20 years. And instead, I'd like to do more documentary style stuff. This video I just finished for Hackamania made me so happy. You know, I haven't been this happy about something in a long time. It is disgusting. People are going to be puking, which is exactly what I want. And it will be loads of fun. So that's the kind of stuff I want to do going forward. And then Scott and I'll play music, and maybe we'll get some real musicians in here and play real music sometime.
So you want to run everybody off. They'll be begging for the end.
No, it'll be good. We'll get old Mike Milhorn in here again. We'll play some real music.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun. All right. Looks like we've got okay. We did this one already. This one was...
Hey, Dr. Steve. My question is, why do we see stars when you rub on your eye?
You remember that one? That's do you remember what that's called?
The technical term, no.
Yeah, phosgenes.
Phosgenes.
Or phosphines.
Phosphines, no.
Wait, phosgene is a poison, isn't it? It's phosphines. Let me see. Double check. Yep. That's the sensation of seeing light without an actual light source. And if you press on your eyeballs, and I don't recommend that you do this very often, but when I was a kid, I used to do it, and you get that kaleidoscope sort of thing, and it's muted, not bright colors, they're muted colors, but colors nonetheless. And now if you see these without pressing on your eyeballs, that's a reason to go to the ophthalmologist. For example, you start seeing lightning in your peripheral vision, that could be a sign of a retinal detachment or retinal tear. Or if you're seeing marquee-like lights that are there and without any stimulus, that could be a migraine coming on, or other events that have affected the retina or the visual cortex of the brain. So get those kinds of things checked. But if you want to see phosphines, you can just very close your eyes and take your fists and just very lightly press on your eyeballs. But do it very gently if you're going to do it, and just so that you can see what we're talking about. Otherwise, I don't recommend it. All right. Let's see. Here we go.
John Pryluck. I don't know if you remember me or not. Professor, UNC, RTVMP department.
Oh, Dr. Pryluck. Okay.
How funny.
The rest of all of these phone calls are all Dave Haynes doing different voices. So maybe I'll just animate some of them. We never know. But anyway, all right. So that's that. If you want to do a voicemail call, it's 347-766-4323, 347-POOHEAD, and leave us a message and we will answer it on the air. Alternately, you can record it on your phone and email it to me at drsteve202@gmail.com. All right. Okay. Let's do some of these here. Uh-oh, of course. Here we go.
Hey, Dr. Steve. Just had a question. Sometimes I feel like I have to urinate, but I don't have the urge to urinate, so I have to force it out. It's a very occasional problem, but I was just wondering what could be the cause of that. Thanks, Dr. Steve.
Yeah, you want to take that one? We just kind of covered that.
Yeah, need to urinate and have to kind of force it out. Sometimes it's prostatitis. So you can have BPH, which is a benign prostate condition, and it can happen at any age.
Yep.
And what a lot of people don't realize is it can be caused from those, as Dr. Steve would say, those giant American stools as they come down, constipation. If you can be constipated over time,
give thyself a bell.
That prostate will get rubbed raw and can actually wind up getting swollen and infected over time. So, yes, that's the first thing I would check.
Yep. And, that can be called urgency, or you can have hesitancy too. So urgency is the urgent feeling that you have to pee, and then hesitancy is when you feel like you need to pee, but it just doesn't happen. Now, Robin Quivers found out that she had pelvic cancer because she couldn't urinate at all. She felt like she needed to go, and all of a sudden just couldn't.
Oh, geez.
And she couldn't, and she couldn't, and she couldn't, and the feeling got worse and worse and worse. So she went to the emergency room, they catheterized her, and then they did an ultrasound and saw a big tumor that was blocking off her urethra. And this is, I'm not speaking out of school, this is stuff that she talked about on the air. If you ever cannot urinate, that is a medical emergency. If you let that go too long, lots of bad things can happen. The bladder will get large enough. It usually will not explode, right? But what will happen is it'll get so big that the back pressure starts to equal the pressure that the kidneys are producing by forcing fluid down the urethra into the bladder, and they will just stop.
Yeah.
The back pressure will be so high that the kidney can no longer filter, and then you'll end up with kidney failure.
Yep.
So you've got to get that taken care of. Don't hesitate. Now, if you're an elderly gentleman like myself and you take Benadryl, or another antihistamine-type medication, these things can cause bladder outflow obstruction. And I've seen it to the point where the person was completely obstructed just by taking a Benadryl. So we don't recommend antihistamines like that, particularly the original type of antihistamines in the elderly, because in elderly men, they can cause prostate obstruction. And they can also, in all elderly, cause delirium. And if you take them on a daily basis, it can increase your risk of dementia as well. All right? Okie doke. Let's see here. Here's a good one.
Yeah, I had a question about my testicles, I guess.
Okay.
It's about masturbating.
Excellent.
And, it's about basically cutting off the flow of my semen, I guess. So that I don't make a mess, I guess, and I wanted to see what the after effects or physical problems I might have when I do that.
Okay, so I think what he's saying is that he's beaten his meat, and then he is obstructing outflow of semen
to not make a mess.
So that it flows in a retrograde fashion into the bladder. And so he is inducing retrograde ejaculation. Is there a problem with this? Not really, except for the fact that that's not the way it's supposed to work. And when for you to force semen to go backwards, you're having to apply a lot of pressure, and it requires a lot of back pressure that then forces that sphincter open, and now you've got a bladder that has semen in it, semen and urine. And, of course, semen is a pretty good bacterial culture as well. I don't know if there's any data that says that inducing your own retrograde ejaculation increases the risk of urinary tract infection, but I wouldn't recommend that. I would just get some tissues,
There you go, yeah.
or beat off, sitting on the pot, and then you can just direct the flow into the water, of the toilet, or beat off in the shower, or use a gel masturbator, and then just clean it out afterward. You just run it under the faucet, some warm water, and then just stick it back in the drawer. It's no big deal. So I personally, like I said, I don't have any data that says that this is causing harm, but I wouldn't recommend it, particularly when it's not necessary.
Right. Yeah.
Mainly because you are inducing, fluidics says that fluids will go wherever the path of least resistance is, and you are creating a path of least resistance that's not supposed to be there.
It's going upstream instead of down.
Correct.
So,
yeah, and then you've got a bladder.
Then you got to pee out.
Semen in it. It's not supposed to be. You got to pee it out anyway.
Yeah.
So
it's coming out whether you like it or not.
Yeah. So I think I would not do that. But I'll look and see if there's any data that says that there is a compelling reason why you shouldn't, if it increases risk of something. All right? Okay.
Hi.
Hello.
My name is Alexander. I'm calling because I would like to know if untreated allergies can cause nasal pharyngitis. Please let me know.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, now when you say nasopharyngitis, I'm assuming what you're talking about is can it cause sore throat and cough and those kinds of things. So yes, and it's just post-nasal drip. So drippage from the nose has got, if it doesn't come out the nostrils like Dr. Scott's is right now,
like your
it's going to go.
friend.
It's going to go down the back of your throat, and when it goes down the back of your throat, after a long enough period of time, it can wash away the mucus over the mucous membrane, causing inflammation and exposing of the naked mucous membrane, which would cause sore throat. It can also, that drip can hit the epiglottis, which is the valve sort of thing that closes off the trachea so that you're not constantly aspirating, and it will cause a cough. And I know that if I've got uncontrolled nasal drainage, I'm coughing like crazy. And as soon as I clear that up, either with an antihistamine or I clear out my nose with the Navage or whatever, and then blow it like crazy and stop the drainage, the cough goes away. And it's that sort of nagging, dry cough that just drives you crazy, particularly when you're laying down. So yes, it can cause that. So just do something about it. All right?
You can do it.
You can do it. Okay. There's one called Pirate Ship, and it's an M4A, meaning that somebody recorded that. So I think we'll do that on the podcast side. All right. Well, looks like, perfect. Out of time. So thank you, Dr. Scott. And always good to see you. Join us in the Fluid family, Weird Medicine, youtube.com/@weirdmedicine. Go to our website at drsteve.com for schedules, podcasts, and other crap. And until next time, check your stupid nuts for lumps, quit smoking, get off your asses, and get some exercise. We'll see you in 1 week for the next edition of Weird Medicine. Thanks, everybody. All right. Okie dokie. That was sort of a weak outro, but that's all right. All right, you got anything from the Fluid family?
Got a couple in there.
Okay, all right, here we go. You ready?
Yep.
All right, Dr. Scott, before we go, what do we got from the Fluid family, my friend?
Well, let's see. Lincoln wants to know what the difference is between hateration and holleration.
Between what?
Hateration and holleration. I don't know. I figured it was some kind of an
Where
inside.
is this question?
Just barely scroll up about 10.
Let me see. Hateration, spell it.
HATERATION. Hateration. I'm assuming hating on someone and hollering at somebody.
I have no idea. I don't know what the hell he's talking
Sorry,
about.
Lincoln. I figured it was a Dr. Steve thing.
Hey, the one pun. Absolutely, you can have some merch. Just send me a message. And
and I can mail it too. We mail stuff out all the time.
Oh yeah. If you now listen,
if
you ever buy anything from Dr. Scott at simplyherbals.net and you identify yourself as Weird Medicine listener, he sends out tchotchkes and stuff. So I'll give him some stuff. Do you need some stuff right now, or are you good?
Probably wouldn't hurt to have a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Chris Mack wants to know. Loperamide works on the opiate receptors in your gut, right?
Correct.
So it doesn't have the pleasurable effects, but it still can make you constipated.
Correct. So it doesn't pass the blood-brain barrier like, say, morphine and stuff does. And the other interesting thing is, so it works by stimulating the peripheral mu-opioid receptors. In other words, the receptors that accept the signal from a narcotic and that are in the periphery, meaning they're not central. They're not in the brain or the central nervous system. So what it'll do is it will slow the bowel down. Now, we have also peripheral mu-opioid receptor antagonists. These are for people who are taking, say, morphine for pain, but now they have horrendous constipation. And you can give them a medication like naloxegol or nalodimidine or methylnaltrexone. And what it does is those will not cross the blood-brain barrier either, but they will block the activity of drugs like loperamide or morphine at the level of the bowel and allow people to move their bowels. So you can manipulate that either way. So loperamide causes constipation, whereas methylnaltrexone will cause laxation. In other words, it will cause bowel movements. And one agonizes or stimulates the receptor, and the other one antagonizes or blocks the receptor.
Gotcha.
So that's pretty cool.
I got one more.
Yep.
One more. So Logan Field, and looks like Shillerton.
Logan Field is here?
Yeah, Logan Field's here.
Yay.
And Shillerton, they're wanting to know about methylene blue.
Yeah.
What are the pros and cons of methylene blue? What do you use it for?
Okay, so we've used methylene blue for ages for people who have a condition called methemoglobinemia. This is where people's hemoglobin is unable to carry oxygen, and you can use methylene blue for that.
Gotcha.
But it's also used for lots of non-FDA approved things like vasoplegic syndrome, which is a shock that occurs during coronary artery bypass grafting, and it increases what we call systemic vascular resistance when you use adrenaline and it doesn't work. So you can use methylene blue for that. They will use it as a dye when they're doing sentinel lymph node biopsies for women with breast cancer. And it can reduce post-injection pain. If you're giving somebody propofol and it causes pain, you can give them methylene blue. They also use it to counteract a side effect from a drug called ifosfamide, and the methylene blue will reverse like coma that's caused by that drug or delirium. And then you can identify parathyroid glands with that because it will preferentially pick up the methylene blue.
Gotcha.
Now, if I remember correctly, we've used methylene blue for people with urinary tract infection too. Let's look that up. It's been a long time. Methylene blue.
Well, I think it's because it's got some antimicrobial properties.
And also it has anesthetic property at the level of the mucous membrane. So, yeah, let's see here. Let's see, methylene blue. Yeah, urylene blue. Medication is a weak antiseptic that kills bacteria in the urinary tract. It's also a blue-green dye used for certain medical tests and will stain body fluids and tissues. It's not a cure for bladder infection, but it can make it feel better. So anyway, so there you go. That is something I have not prescribed methylene blue for urinary tract infection in probably 30 years. But anyway, does that answer their question? Or did they have a specific reason?
And I think he's speaking more specifically to some non-FDA approved.
Yeah, like what?
Relationship, like improved mental or cognitive function.
Oh, really?
Yeah, enhanced mitochondrial functions. There are some things suggesting that it might help with, being neuroprotective. It might help with some cognitive function and mitochondrial function. So.
Well, let me look up methylene blue nootropic. It acts as a nootropic to enhance mitochondrial function, leading to a variety of benefits such as increased energy levels, improved physical health, and enhanced cognitive function. Okay, if that's what they're talking about. Now, this is from a website that is promoting this. So I'm going to have to find data on this because they're promoting it for mood elevation, anti-aging benefits, neuroprotective effects, antioxidant effects and stuff. Let me see if there's anything in in the medical literature. Will you send me a note on that, and I'll look it up?
Yes, the Logan field. It's a there's a lot of claims out there, but we haven't seen anything real specific.
Yeah, okay. Here we go. Neurometabolic mechanisms for memory enhancement and neuroprotection of methylene blue. This is from a 2012 article from Progress in Neurobiology. And it says memory-enhancing effects have been associated with improvement of memory consolidation, network-specific and use-dependent fashion. Low dose of methylene blue have been used for neuroprotection against mitochondrial dysfunction in humans and experimental models of disease. The evidence review supports a mechanistic role of low-dose methylene blue as a promising and safe intervention for improving memory. Okay, interesting. Yep. Okay, well, I learned something today that people are at least thinking about it. Let me do a deep dive on this. This is the kind of thing, see, down the road I really want to do, because somebody could ask a question like this. I can review the medical literature and do a nice sort of summary of the risk, benefits, and alternatives, like I did with seed oils when you weren't here. I did a whole deep dive on seed oils that demonstrated that some of what Vinnie Tortorich claims and other people are, has some merit, but there's also some malarkey associated with it as well. So
everything in moderation.
Yeah, including everything in moderation.
Exactly.
So. Yeah, here, methylene blue and anti-cancer photodynamic therapy, systemic review of preclinical studies. So preclinical studies mean it hasn't been studied in humans yet. Methylene blue protects against sevoflurane-induced cognitive dysfunction, but that's in mice, and, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, well, you send me a thing on that, and I'll do I'll do a literature search on that.
We'll do it.
All right, so Shellatron and Logan Field, I will absolutely look at that. The One Pun, thanks for the $2. Thanks for all the years of advice and entertainment. Well, thanks, buddy. We're still going to be around, just not doing the every Saturday thing for SiriusXM. Say No More, thanks for the Canadian $2. It says, love you, Dr. Steve, and love you too. Thank you, Say No More. What else you got? You got anything else?
I'll do her.
Yeah, Lincoln, what's the difference between hateration and holleration? I have no idea what the hell he's saying.
No.
So, I don't know. That's not an Appalachian thing. Holleration isn't an Appalachian thing. The other thing I want to do is I'm going to start doing some shows or episodes on logic. I'm going to do one on the Monty Hall problem because I have a way of explaining that I think finally anybody will be able to understand.
Okay.
Because the Monty Hall problem is highly counterintuitive. And are you familiar with it? You know what I'm talking about?
No clue.
Okay,
sorry,
I'll tell you So you're on Let's Make a Deal, and Monty Hall shows you three doors. Behind one door is a car, and you want the car, or say $1 million. Let's say it's $1 million, and behind two of the cars is a nice steaming pile of shit. Okay, so you got two doors with shit, one with $1 million. You want the $1 million. Now, you say, I want door number 2. Monty Hall says, well, before I open that door, I'm going to show you what's behind door number 3, and it is a steaming pile of shit. And now he says, would you want to switch from door number 2 to door number 1? Now that I've showed you that there's a steaming pile of shit between door number 3, should you switch? Is there an advantage to you switching at that point? And what do you think?
Just a pure guess, I would say don't switch.
Because why?
I would think he's trying to get you to switch because his bosses want him to make you switch.
Okay.
So they don't lose money.
Okay, well, let's just say that it's a fair game.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Okay, let's say it's a fair game.
Does he know what's behind the doors?
We don't know. He showed you that behind door number 3 there's a steaming pile of shit. So should you Is there any
So
advantage
you're talking
to you?
just random. It's not that he knows something. He doesn't know what's behind there. He's just you randomly check.
He knew behind number 3 there was he said, I'm going to show you what's behind number 3, and it's a random pile of shit. It wouldn't have made any sense for him to show you that, and there's a car there.
Of course.
Because it would have ruined it.
Of course.
So, but you picked 2.
Mm-hmm.
You can switch to 1.
Mm-hmm.
Now that he showed you that behind 3, there's a steaming pile of shit. So is there an advantage to switching?
I would not. I don't think so.
Because?
I think go with your gut instinct.
Well, because it's a 50-50, right? There shouldn't be any difference, right?
Right.
That's what everybody thinks, and this is why human beings are terrible at probability, because the truth is you should switch.
Okay.
And people will go, how could that possibly be? Well, here's how. And I'm going to do a visual version of this. But let's just say that the car is behind door number 1.
Okay.
Now you pick door number 2. He shows you that behind door number 3 there is a turd.
Mm-hmm.
If you switch, now you're going to get the car, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, you go, well, that was just 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what if you pick door number 3?
Mm-hmm.
If you pick door number 3, he shows you door number 2,
Mm-hmm.
which is a pile of shit, and then you switch, and now you pick door number 1, you get the car.
Get the car right.
The only way that you don't get the car is if you pick the car first, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you pick
Get a
the
1-3
car
chance.
first, it's 1 in 3 chance.
Yeah.
So you have 2 ways to win and 1 way to lose if you switch after he shows you that there's a turd behind the other door. It's crazy, and even when you know that, it still doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense. No.
That somehow him showing you a turd behind a door you didn't pick should compel you to switch, but it does.
Isn't that funny?
And the only way you can lose is if the door was behind number 2 in the first place, and there's a 1 in 3 chance. So that means there's a 2/3 chance of winning if you switch, and a 1/3 chance of winning if you don't. Okay?
Isn't that wild?
Isn't that something?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy. So I have a visual way of demonstrating this, and the lazy way to do it is just put a camera up and I'll just draw it out. Maybe I'll do fancy graphics, but really I just want people to understand this problem, because Marilyn Vos Savant, when this problem first came out in Parade magazine in like the 60s, she caught holy hell from mathematicians saying, you're a stupid woman, you don't know any, and people, a lot of it was just chauvinism. They just wanted her to be wrong, and it turned out that she was 100% correct.
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
But it took quite some time, and it was quite controversial at the time. It's still controversial. People don't understand it. So I want to do stuff like that.
Sounds good.
I think that'd be fun. And stuff like this would be great. Hey, methylene blue. I knew it as, using it for UTIs and for detecting parathyroid hormones. Logan Field and his friend, who was that?
Shirtalon.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Shirtalon. She's French.
Turned us on to yet a different indication for it that's off-label, of course. But anyway, all right. And say no more. Thank you for the Canadian $5. Says, please do this Logic episode. Yes, all day, Dr. Steve. Okay, well, we'll do it. And we'll do some other things like that as well. And the one pun says, since you're in Vegas for Hackamania, any thoughts on the Heart Attack Grill? I want to go. Yeah, it was Shelley. Oh, it was Shelley. Oh, okay. That's Logan Field's girlfriend.
Yeah, I figured, yep.
The one pun, my philosophy is everything in moderation, including everything in moderation, meaning that for your own health, I think you should blow it out your ass every once in a while. This is my opinion. Might check out the Heart Attack Grill. They got these giant burgers there that apparently are,
massive. I saw it on TV one time. It was crazy.
Yeah.
How funny.
So, anyway,
cool, man.
I'll share it with Cardiff.
Cool.
Cardiff could eat a whole one.
He is the king.
Yeah, he is. He's a monster. Yeah, Golden George said, can I go to the hospital to get my wife removed from my ass? And do I say I sat on her? Yes, if you have something shoved up your ass always just say, yeah, I sat on it, and that's the fiction that we all agree on, that, that will save your face. But, obviously he's speaking metaphorically.
Obviously.
So if I had an answer for getting your wife removed from your ass, I would have done it a long time ago myself. But tee-hee.
No, my.
All right. Anything else up there in the fluid family, my friend?
I think I'll do her.
Yeah, okay. All right. Here's Amanda Davidson says, is it possible to be fucked stupid? I don't know.
Remember that's what Stacy said.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, that's what he said on that call when he screwed it up.
Oh, I see. Okay.
He said,
right.
fuck me stupid.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, I think you can be fucked stupid.
So, man,
I think you can be stupid.
We'd have to ask Stacy.
Yeah. Okay, Aaron Lewis says, Heart Attack Grill is a fun experience. The food isn't very good. Okay. Still, I'd go. It's been about 10 years. Okay, well, let's go. We'll make a trip to the Heart Attack Grill. I want to go to what is it? Where's the Mustang Ranch? Just to see it, of course.
Oh gosh,
I just want to see it.
Yeah, I don't know, but I know what you're talking about. I've heard of it.
Now that guy, Orville Peck did a video. It's watching the boys go by or whatever. And he did it in one of those places, and it looked kind of grim.
How funny.
It was like really cheap plywood, paneling and stuff, and it looked grim. But I want to go. I just want to see it.
Sure.
I always said one of my bucket lists was to buy marijuana legally after all the shit we went through in the 60s.
Yep.
The terror. And, John Sinclair being put away for 2 joints, he was a political prisoner, blah, 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 all that stuff. So, I finally got to do that in Chicago. It just went to a legal dispensary and bought pot. And then I gave it to Vinny. I didn't want it. It was not for me. But I would like to, I'm not necessarily procure the services of a professional, but I would like to see the process, see the business in I think it'd be fascinating. Maybe I could interview some of them or something.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, I'll pay them to just talk.
I'm
sure I wouldn't be the only
What kind
person.
of chronic pain do you have with your...
Where?
No, if they're certain chosen profession.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. The one pun, wine in an IV bag, whiskey in pill bottles, 8 patty burgers, and getting spanked for not finishing your food. Oh, really? Oh, is that right? They spank you if you don't finish your food? I'm in. Oh, spank me.
That is funny.
All right. Elliot Franco says, hi, Dr. Steve. I wanted to share that I've been diagnosed with late-onset cerebellar ataxia. Okay. I have a family member who has that as well. Heading to Mayo Clinic for further diagnosis. Yeah. It says, what are the chances of recovery? Depends on what's calling. Hey, Elliot, email me. I'll send you some info. I need to know more. My family member thinks that they got it actually from a vaccination that they got, which is not impossible. And there are all kinds of weird adverse, unbelievably rare adverse effects. But she's walking with the walker right now, and I hope that she recovers. So, Elliot, let me know how you're doing. Email me. You know how to get in touch with me. If you don't, go to drsteve.com, click contact. That now works, and we can communicate that way, okay? That's probably better. All right. Anything else, Dr. Scott?
No, sir.
Okay.
Wrap
Is
it
that
up.
everything? Okay.
Wrap,
now, if I missed anything, Dr. Scott
It's my
said...
fault. It's my fault.
I'll
take it.
Fault. Thanks always goes to Dr. Scott. Thanks to everyone who's made this show happen over the years. Listen to our Sirius XM show on the Faction Talk channel, Sirius XM channel 103, Saturdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern, on demand, and other times at Jim McClure's pleasure. And many thanks to our listeners whose voicemail and topic ideas make this job very easy. Go to our website at drsteve.com for schedules, podcasts, and other crap. And don't forget Dr. Scott's website at simplyherbals.net. Until next time, check your stupid nuts for lumps, quit smoking, get off your asses, get some exercise. We'll see you in 1 week for the next edition of Weird Medicine. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Now let's do the intro real quick.
Rap.
Here we go. You ready?
Yes, sir.
out of your mouth, child. Babbling. Insanity. Delusions.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
I love to masturbate. I love to masturbate.
If you just read the bio for Dr. Steve, host of Weird Medicine on Sirius XM 103 and made popular by two really comedy shows, Opie and Anthony and Ron and Fez, you would have thought that this guy was a bit of, a clown.
Why can't you give me the respect that I'm entitled to?
I've got diphtheria crushing my esophagus. I've got Ebola virus dripping from my nose. I've got the leprosy of the heart valve, exacerbating my incredible woes. I want to take my brain out and blast it with the wave, an ultrasonic, echographic, and a pulsating shave. I want a magic pill for all my ailments, the health equivalent to Citizen Kane. And if I don't get it now in the tablet, I think I'm doomed and I'll have to go insane. I want a requiem for my disease, so I'm paging Dr. Steve. Dr. Steve!
From the world-famous Cardiff Electric Network studios in beautiful downtown OJ City, it's Weird Medicine, the first and still only uncensored medical show in the history of broadcast radio, now a podcast. I'm Dr. Steve with my little pal, Dr. Scott, the traditional Chinese medicine professor who gives me street cred with the wacko alternative medicine assholes. Hello, Dr. Scott.
Hey, Dr.
I got a mouthful of marbles today. This is a show for people who would never listen to a medical show on the radio or the internet. If you got a question you're embarrassed to take to your regular medical provider, or if you can't find an answer anywhere else, give us a call, 347-766-4323. That's 347-POOHEAD. Follow us on Twitter at Weird Medicine or at DrScottWM. Visit our website, drsteve.com, for podcasts, medical news, and stuff you can buy. Most importantly, we are not your medical providers. Take everything here with a grain of salt. Don't act on anything you hear on this show without talking it over with your healthcare provider. All right, very good. Don't forget stuff.drsteve.com. That's stuff.drsteve.com for your online shopping needs. And scroll down and look at the Rody robotic tuner, or you can go to Rody, ROADIE.drsteve.com to see this thing, and it will tune any stringed instrument with very few exceptions. And it will restring your guitar or bass for you as well if you get the right unit. And they're relatively inexpensive for what the thing does. And even Brian May said this is a great invention, and he was cursing them for coming out with it at the end of his career. So he really, he's a fan, and I am too. Rody.drsteve.com. And check out Dr. Scott's website at simplyherbals.net. And come to patreon.com/weirdmedicine, putting up old classic episodes there now, and they get a first look at all of the behind-the-scenes stuff, plus any of the normal world stuff. They get to see it first. Patreon.com/weirdmedicine. If you want me to say fluid to your mama, cameo.com/weirdmedicine. Actually, I think we have to do a cameo today.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we'll do it here directly. Anyway, everything okay with you?
Yeah, except I got a runny nose. Don't know why.
Okay. Okay, there we go. What's the date on this?
It's going to be 2/22/25.
Oh, 2/22/25.
Yep.
And then broadcast when?
03/01.
That's a week from today.
Yep.
Okay.
The topics are
Got it.
in cyberspace.
Okay, thank you. All right. What do you want to play? You have time to play?
Yeah.
I've got this stupid, well, I don't know if I'm going to say stupid, but I've got a gala tonight.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not fun.
Nope.
No, you know what I'm having, and I'll be interested to see if you have it too. Guitar is acting really weird.
Really?
Yeah, it's like every time I try to open something up, it goes black, and the rest of my computer's fine.
Oh.
Don't ask me. I was going to do just something pretty straightforward, like a
Yeah. What do you want to do? No, it's working for
like
me.
a
Are you logged in to Ultimate Guitar?
Yeah. Is yours working?
Yeah.
Gosh. It may be my, that's kind of weird. You ever heard, Clay Pigeons?
No, what is it?
An old John Prine song.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not what it's supposed to sound like.
You want the robot?
No.
Oh, you're doing the guitar? Yo.
I'm just tune up just in case.
We're doing 1900 on Clay Pigeons.
Yeah, 1900.
I just think mandolin's your instrument.
Oh, it is for sure.
Oh yeah, now it's black.
Isn't that
it's
weird?
Not loading, yeah.
I don't know if I can see it. He came. I don't want to cable it. I'm down to the Greyhound station. I'm gonna buy a ticket to ride. I'm gonna find that lady with 2 or 3 kids. Sit down by her side. Ride till the sun comes up and goes down around 2 or 3 times. Smoking cigarettes and less seed. Singing songs for the people I meet. And get along with it all.
Yeah, I
Where
see
the people
nothing.
say y'all. Isn't that weird? I don't know what that's about. Well, let's play something that we both know.
They're
'cause-
having a problem.
Yeah, it's bizarre, isn't it? The only one I can see is what I pulled up that played Clay Pigeons. Let's do something we know, and I'll get my mandolin out. Yeah, because that's I mean it's black.
Yep.
Everything I've tried to pick, and I've tried 47 different ways to get it up. Let's do
Yeah, no, it's there's
Deadsville
the
in
sights
it.
down.
Yeah, Deadsville.
How about that? That's
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
All right.
I thought
What we gonna do?
per usual was probably going to be me. Let me see what I can find that we've got. Let's see what we've got here. We can pull up. We can do let's do.
Why does that sound so rough?
Oh, yeah, we could do.
Huh?
Let's do this.
Friend of the devil.
No, let's do California Stars.
Okay.
If I can get my,
Remind me how it goes.
Yeah, this one is. Well, maybe it's my computer. I'd like to rest. All right, here we go. It's going to be GDCG. I'd like to rest my heavy head tonight on a bed of California stars. I'd like to lay my weary bones tonight on a bed of California stars. It's just that over and over.
got it.
Yep. There you go. I'd like to rest my heavy head tonight on a bed of California stars. I'd like to lay my weary bones tonight on a bed of California stars. I'd love to feel your hand touching mine and tell me why I must keep working on. Yes, I'd like to lay my weary head tonight on a bed of California stars. I'd like to dream my troubles away on a bed of California stars. Jump up on my starbed and make another day underneath my California stars. They hang like grapes on vines that shine a warm glow. There's a friendly glass of wine, so I give this world just a dream, a little dream with you. And California stars. I'd like to dream and throw our troubles away on a bed of California stars. I'd like to lay my weary bones tonight on a bed of California stars. I'd love to feel your hands touching mine and tell me why I must be working on. Yes, I live my life to lay my head tonight on California stars. I dream my troubles away on a bed of California stars. Jump up from my star bed and make another day underneath my California stars. They hang like grapes on vines that shine and warm the lover's glass like a friendly wine. So I give this world just a dream with you. California stars. I love that. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Well, I had it saved and couldn't read the damn thing the way I saved. At least I could go close.
All right.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. We gonna do Friend of the Devil? You called the Friend of the Devil.
Okay.
Let's do Friend of the Devil and we'll get out of here. All right. I lit out from Reno, I was trailed by 20 hounds. Didn't get to sleep last night till the morning came around. Set out running, but I take my time. A friend of a devil is a friend of mine. I get home before daylight, I just might get some sleep tonight. I ran into the devil, baby, loaned me 20 bills. I spent the night at Dr. Steve's house in a cave up on a hill. Set out running, but I take my time. A friend of a devil is a friend of mine. I live before daylight, I just might get some sleep tonight. Ran into the devil, baby, loaned me 20 bills. I spent the night at 8,000 in a cave up on the hill. Oh, shit. Set out running, but I take my time. A friend of a devil is a friend of mine. I get home before daylight, I just might get some sleep tonight. Got 2 reasons why I cry away each lonely night. The first one's named Sweet Anne Marie, and she's my heart's delight. Second one is prison baby, sheriff's on my trail. And if he catches up with me, I'll spend my life in jail. Got a wife and she ain't no baby, one in Cherokee. The first one says she's got my child, it don't look like me. Said out running, but I take my time. A friend of a devil is a friend of mine. I get home before they light, I just might get some sleep tonight.
Does it go to the D again?
What? We'll play the break right, just the verse.
Got it.
Yeah, and then we'll go to the D. Here you go. Got 2 reasons why I cry away each lonely night. The first one's named Sweet Anne Marie, she's my heart's delight. Second one is prison baby, sheriff's on my trail. And if he catches up with me, I'll spend my life in jail. Got a wife and she ain't no baby, one in Cherokee. The first one says she's got my child, it don't look like me. Said out running, but I take my time. A friend of a devil is a friend of mine. I get home before daylight, I just might get some sleep tonight. That wasn't terrible. I can't believe I missed those 10 words in the middle. I'm such a shithead. Oh, and you know, the worst part was I was so focused on not doing it. I didn't.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Just big.
You ever heard of a thing called presque-vu? You know what deja vu is, right?
Yeah, of course.
That's where you feel like you did something.
Of course, yeah.
Presque-vu is when you're doing something that you normally do, and all of a sudden, it's like you don't know where the fuck you are. And that happens to musicians a lot, where they've played a song a million times, and all of a sudden they're like, "What? I don't know where I am."
What's the third voice? And I know exactly what the third voice is. It just, God, I could not believe it. Oh, I do that in my sleep. That's so much fun. God, I love that song. Come up, police, arrest this
Let me stand up.
man.
No, I can't do it. Okay, we'll just play this.
Just the intro, yeah.
Ready? All right,
Hey, thanks, Logan Field.
ready?
You guys be good. Yeah, you play the full intro, so I know when to come in.
Whoops.
That's got to be you, yeah. Yeah.
Hey, man. Did you get your medicine okay? Yeah, I can. Are you there now? Oh, why didn't they just say something? No, they didn't. They called my office. Maybe they didn't call me. Can I talk to them or? Okay. Is it? Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Change of prescription. All right. No, I don't have this. Let's see. Ready?
Come up, police, arrest this man. He talks in math and buzzes like a fridge. He's like a detuned radio. Come up, police, arrest this girl. Her Hitler hairdo makes me feel ill, and we have crashed her party. This is what you get. This, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I apologize. It snuck up on me.
2, 3, 4.
And this is what you get. And this is what you get. This is what you get when you mess with us. Come up, police, give us all I can. It's not enough. I've given all I can, but we're still on the payroll. This is what you get. And this is.
Hang on.
Oh.
Hello. No problem. Okay, buddy. I'll see you, buddy. All right.
This is. Let's go back to the chorus. This is what you'll get. This is what you'll get. This is what you get when you mess with us. For a minute there, I lost my. Yeah, it's a. Uh-oh. For a minute there, I lost myself.
You can do it an octave lower.
For a minute there, I lost myself. I lost. Here, I lost myself for a minute there. I lost myself. I lost myself for a minute there. I lost myself. I lost myself for a minute there. I lost myself. I lost myself. That's the best I can do.
I'll practice
I
the
gotta go.
keyboard part, and I'll set down a track, and then that way I can play the bass with you on that. But I'll have the piano down right.
I think I better work on that B minor.
Well, if we have it on the recording, then I'm not effing it up.
I can get that.
I don't care to sing
I can
it.
get that. I can get it. I can get it. I just got to. I just have to be. I just had to know it's coming.
Yeah, right.
I lost myself.
And you have to remember to put the phew in there too.
I was going to, but
Phew for a minute.
I just want to do it over and over and over.
Over. I lost myself.
P-U is what I say. P-U.
Yeah.
P-U on virus.
All right. So that's a work in progress. We'll work on that one. I'm just teaching Scott the chords, and I'm teaching myself the chords, obviously. So.
Fucking viruses.
No audio. Oh, well, I turned the audio down while I was talking on the phone, but there should be audio. Anyway, all right. Okay, hey, thanks, everybody. Take care. We'll see you next time, and we will have Karma Police done next time. I'm excited about playing that one live, so and playing it properly, obviously.
It was close considering.
Well, I mean, we got the chords halfway close, but we got to play it so it sounds good. All right, everybody, take care. Have a good one.